Hello everybody, welcome back to the Gaming Corner podcast. I'm Josiah. Jonathan isn't here and neither is Landon, but we do have the next best thing, being Mr. Christendo himself. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me. If you don't know who I am, it's me, your boy, the big snub on YouTube, Christendo. I do want to just thank Josiah for having me on here.
It's an honor. We've been watching you for a little bit. First video that we saw of yours, I told you this already, but it was the Super Mario Galaxy video.
And it was classic.
It was so funny, and I died as I watched it. It was great.
That was quite an interesting episode. So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of context, obviously based on the name, I'm a fellow Nintendo YouTuber. I've had quite the history here on YouTube. I'm not going to go into that here, but if you want to know, I do have a podcast named ChrisCast if you want to go check it out. Shameless plug here. I'm also the biggest Scott the Woz clone there is on the internet. So anyways, I'm gonna turn it back to Josiah. I don't want to hack your podcast. This is your podcast. This is so weird to me. I'm just not used to being like, a co-host.
I've been on other podcasts before, like Off the Wall, which is Presto the Magnificent, and Octoboy and Tyler's podcast. I forget Tyler's thing. Tyler the Lol Boy, I think is his name. But either way, yeah, I was on their podcast and I had a fun time on there. We talked about the SNES Classic, which you guys should go check out on Apple Podcasts, whatever they're on. Yeah, I think every single podcast thing. Deezer. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're on Deezer. Yeah.
What are we gonna be talking about today?
Well, I think we should probably start with the latest gaming news and releases. Let's get right into it.
Apparently, there was a new Pokemon game that was possibly leaked for the Switch 2. If you don't, for some reason, know and didn't watch the Pokemon Presents, there was a new Pokemon game unveiled called Pokemon Legends Z through A. I don't know what they're calling it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's set to release in 2025, which surprised everyone. Just to give you the short rundown of it, it kind of revisits the Kalos region. It's a Pokemon Legends game, and it focuses on Numius City, and it possibly brings back Mega Evolution. So one of the biggest things, though, that a lot of people speculated is that when it was advertised, the game was said to release on Nintendo Switch systems, not just like the normal Switch. This could also mean that this next Pokemon game is a launch title or one of the first games to release on the Switch 2.
That could be pretty promising, because I think it would be really cool to see like a Pokemon launch for the Switch 2. That would be really big. So like how they've already had Breath of the Wild as the Switch's launch title. What was it? New Super Mario Brothers U for the Wii U, which was the biggest deal in gaming.
I watched an Arlo video and he made a pretty good point about like the game. So there's two ways it could be. One, they truly did take the criticism they've gotten from all the Switch games and they're like, yeah, let's not release games every year and let's actually take our time with this one. Or two, the game was supposed to launch this year with the new system, but since the Switch 2 is rumored to be pushed back to 2025, they also pushed back this game for 2025 so that it could release on the Switch and the Switch 2 like at the same time instead of it being out on the Switch for a few months and then coming to Switch 2.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they'd want to make the better version available at the same time as the inferior version. Quotation marks around that, by the way. I feel like the games are going to look the same on either systems, because this is Pokemon Company we're talking about.
A big thing that you can just do is pirate the game, which actually goes right into our next headline, which is Nintendo Switch and 3DS emulators are being shut down. Yeah, Yuzu and Citra are gone. This is following a lawsuit for copyright infringement, I believe it was. Nintendo has officially shut down both Yuzu, a Nintendo Switch emulator, and Citra, a 3DS emulator. The reason for this is vaguely known, however, it's most likely because one of Citra's biggest selling points right before Tears of the Kingdom came out was, remember when Tears of the Kingdom came out and there was like this big leak where they leaked the entire game? Well, 1 million people had apparently downloaded it and made it run better on Yuzu than on the Switch, and that cut down $2.4 million in damages and lost profits. So they sued Yuzu for $2.4 million.
I think that's kind of stupid, if I'm being honest. Because it's not necessarily Yuzu's fault that people were using their emulator to emulate a pirated version of Tears of the Kingdom. If anything, they should have been going for the people that,
actually did it.
Their games, exactly. I mean, sure, the emulator made it possible for them to play the game early, but it's not like, the intention of Yuzu, and even in the case of Citra, I have a whole nother rant about that.
Yeah.
Like, Yuzu, the people that created that, their intent wasn't to, this is where you can play games illegally. This is just like, okay, maybe that was kind of an intent, but It wasn't their intent for it to be used to play games
funny,
illegally early.
Funny story. I heard somewhere, I forget where I heard it, but they were apparently, somebody at Yuzu, like a part of that team, was supposed to start a file sharing network for Nintendo Switch games. So that could have been a problem. that could have also hurt
That might have been one of the reasons.
Yeah,
but
and also because they had Tears of the Kingdom, like I said right before release, as a big selling point on why this game, why you should download Yuzu. So now that they're gone, I downloaded it right before they left, so I got it, baby.
Yeah, there's Ryujinx, that's like one of the most reliable ones from what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
But Citra is such a dumb one. Like, the only reason it was taken down was because it was made by the same people, if I'm not mistaken, if not like very closely related to.
I didn't know that it was made by the same people. It might have been. All I know, I just took it in my head as, it's equally a popular emulator, and we can also get it for about the same reasons. That's how I took it.
Yeah, but the thing is, one, Nintendo isn't selling their 3DS games anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not losing out on money because unless they have like an extra stock of random 3DS games in their warehouses or something, they're not losing out on money from shutting down or from Citra being usable. And then two, it's like
it's a 3DS game. Nintendo doesn't care.
If for some reason Citra isn't related to Yuzu, it's because Citra is popular.
Yeah.
Then why hasn't Dolphin Emulator been brought down yet?
Well,
like, that's been going
they're in the process of doing it. They really want to because apparently Dolphin has been using the BIOS file from the Wii. They use something from the Wii, like actually from the Wii, that is getting them taken down.
Did you hear about the Lego Animal Crossing sets?
I did hear about the Lego Animal Crossing sets.
If I'm not mistaken, aren't those like releasing or like aren't those released or coming soon?
Actually, no, they just released.
Oh.
I didn't know they released it all. So, yeah, so Presto isn't here, so we're fine for saying this. I don't care about Lego or Animal Crossing as much as the next guy. So I'm probably not gonna buy this. I mean, it looks fun for like an Animal Crossing fan or a Lego fan, but it just doesn't look for. I just don't want to buy it. It looks really cool. It looks really cool, but it's not something I'm gonna spend money on.
You know, I am a huge Lego fan. Okay, maybe not huge. I grew up with Lego. Don't think I'm gonna get the Animal Crossing ones because I'm not super big on Animal Crossing. I have the one for the Switch. Yet to play it. I have it though. So if I do want to play it, I can.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that with these ones they actually made the characters actual minifigures instead of just big bulky pieces of plastic like Lego Mario. Nintendo, why did we have to do this? I want my Mario to be a minifigure. So like obviously I didn't invest in Nintendo or Mario Lego as well because I'm just not a huge fan of how they went around that.
Yeah.
But on the topic of Lego quick, because again, I agree with you there. I don't care enough for Animal Crossing to care about the sets. I might pick them up if they look interesting.
Yeah.
They do look interesting, but I'm more of like a Marvel Lego guy. That's where a lot of mine come from.
Yeah, Animal Crossing really isn't the biggest franchise for Lego. I mean, it's a good idea since they have Lego Mario and they have a rumored Lego Deku Tree for Ocarina of Time.
Oh yeah, I was literally just gonna mention that. But
yeah, I might buy the Deku Tree, but I'm not too much into the Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing isn't my jam, but
yeah,
it's cool enough. If you're an Animal Crossing fan and if you like Legos, I'd recommend go checking those out. They look pretty cool. But as someone that isn't, a huge fan of Nintendo or of Animal Crossing, I'm just gonna pass on that.
Yeah. Now, like I was saying, I really haven't played any Animal Crossing, but perfect segue. We're gonna go into the games that we have been playing. Let's get right into it. So I've been playing, actually this was a few days ago, Burnout Crash Remastered on the Xbox Series X, or Series S, because I'm poor. But, no, I like the Series S. It's just a little bit smaller in size, but it's the exact same thing. It's pretty good. Our co-host Jonathan and Landon, they were telling me, dude, you gotta play this. It's on Switch, it's on Xbox, you guys gotta play it. So they got me. It's kind of like a smaller Forza. So it's just it's not even a racing game. It's almost like a GTA meets Forza, but you're just driving cars. So it's a good game to just mess around in. It's a pretty good game. And then I was playing GoldenEye 007 on the Series S once again.
Good choice.
I mainly played this one because on the 64 the controls are a little bit wonky, and I'm gonna go on a small rant here. Yeah. The controls for GoldenEye on the Switch Online suck. They are awful. Mm-hmm. It feels like they switch every single time, and it's just not a good experience to play the games with. So I've been going over to GoldenEye on this Series X or Series S. I'm poor. What am I saying?
So actually, I played a good amount of Pokemon. For the Pokemon Day, I decided I was gonna stream playing. It was originally gonna be every generation of Pokemon, just one game from there. But I ended up just doing Gens 1 through 4 because, well, the stream was already 6 hours long by the time I hit Gen 4. But anyways, I've been playing a little bit of Pokemon Emerald. It's been a lot of fun. I'm not super far, but it's been fun enough. It has a pretty good story so far. But a lot of, like, what I've been playing a lot more of, though, is actually Geometry Dash. You know that funny game where you jump as a cube and sometimes turn into a ship? Yeah, that game.
Yeah, that one. That game.
We finally got 2.2. Huge update. It added, like, a platformer mode. It added, like, a new level, which it was a pretty good level. Not the best work, but it was a pretty good level. But it had a whole lot of stuff. I'm a huge fan of the platformer mode, but I've been playing that a bit. I haven't been playing as much recently, but I started getting back into that a bit. But more importantly, I've been finally getting back into Minecraft a little bit. That game, I haven't touched in a while, but they've been adding some kind of cool stuff recently. Actually, just this week, they've added like new wolf fairy for the game.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
It is cool. They added like 8 new ones, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
Like 8. Other than that, I guess I've played a little bit of Mario Kart, but I've been mostly the last few weeks just kind of been collecting games. So I got like Mario Maker for the Wii U and 3DS. I don't even know why I got for the 3DS. It's just such a random game.
Yeah, because like, why not?
I got that.
Why not?
Exactly. It's such a goofy game to have for the 3DS.
Yeah.
But for the Wii U, I got it because, you know, it's Mario Maker on the Wii U, the OG Mario Maker.
The OG.
And the one I got actually comes with like the little like
the amiibo,
like ideas booklet or something.
Oh, the idea booklet.
Not the amiibo.
I've been looking for the idea booklet because every single copy that I buy, it's never there.
Oh, mine. Like I have like the cardboard box still for it. Like,
yeah, I have that. I have that. I just don't have
but
the
it has
idea
the booklet in there, which I was surprised about. I've also recently got Mario Paint. When I was at the retro game store I usually go to, I'm not gonna say which one because I don't want to leak where I live.
Time to dox some people.
And I've also been collecting a plethora of copies of everyone's favorite Wii game, Action Girls Racing.
Yes.
Made by Data Design. Okay, let me explain this real quick. Okay, the typical person is gonna be so confused as to why I'm getting copies of Action Girls Racing for the Wii. Immediately enough, I just ordered 2 more copies today.
Nice.
So I'll be at 4 by the time those come in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were just talking about how me and Chris were on a call a while ago, and we found a website where they were selling multiple copies of Action Girls Racing for what, $83 each?
Yes, it was so dumb.
It was so weird. I'll have to try to put a screenshot on screen for when you guys are watching this, but it was so weird. Basically,
the whole thing is like, as videos go on, how slowly like my collection of Action Girls Racing is slowly gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger, just because like I think it'd be so funny to have a game that I just have a bunch of for no reason.
Yeah.
And my goal is every video to somehow, some way, either mention Action Girls Racing or slip it into the video somewhere. Yeah. That would be so fun. It'll just be a recurring bit on my channel. What's the topic that we're talking about in this episode? You've been very quiet about that.
I have been very quiet. You
haven't told me much.
So, you know what we should do?
What's that?
We should get right into the GCP topic of today. Let's get right into it. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about gaming, bootlegs, and fake copies, okay?
Ooh, I feel like this episode was made just for me in mind.
It was made for specifically you. Actually, bootlegs and fake games have been around almost as long as video games themselves. Whether it's like a hastily thrown together cartridge or a shameless mobile game ripoff, like Bob's World.
Oh,
like
we love Bob's World though. We love Bob's
yeah,
World.
like counterfeiters or something. Just to always just get like a little cash off of like a successful franchise. It's just a bunch of mixed factors, like somebody thinking like, hey, I can make a quick buck off of this, and that's usually how it is, but like 99% of the time it's like that. But sometimes there's like a little thing where like they're like, hey, I want to make a game that you can only play like this, that Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft would never make, and that's the rare versions. That's the rare kind of games. It's yeah, but. Actually, Chris, I've been told, a little birdie had told me, because I'm a Disney princess, I talk to birds.
Was it Fioro? Did he tell you about the next Nintendo Direct, or did he tell you about the fact that I got scammed out of a DS game?
Well, first of all, he told me that Tears of the Kingdom is a bad game. Second, he told me that you got scammed out of something. Let's hear the story behind that.
Okay, so I do kind of explain this in a recent Chris's Corner. I think it released like 3 weeks ago at this point. 2 weeks ago, something like that. But basically, I have a copy of Pokemon Pearl Edition, okay? I got it off eBay back in like 2021 or something. It was before, it was when I was a dumb child. When I didn't know how to look or identify fakes.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked pretty legit from what I saw with the pictures and stuff. But, like, there was something about it. So, I was just looking at my shelf one day, and it was like, I was just looking at, like, my games or whatever, and then I noticed that on the, like, you know how on the side of a DS or any Nintendo system, basically any system has, like, the logo of the system, like, it says Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
Or this Wii, Nintendo 3DS, whatever it's called. But I noticed that on the Pokemon Pearl version, the part that says Nintendo DS was like a lot more bold than the other ones. Like,
yeah,
it's like in the middle of my collection of my DS games that I have like cases for. My DS collection is super small. But it was in the middle, and like it's between New Super Mario Bros. And Sonic Classic Collection. And those two, like, I know those are legit because I got New Super Mario Bros. Fairly recently from the game store I go to, and they only sell authentic copies.
Yeah.
And then Sonic, I've had since I had got my original DS. Plus, it has that annoying, stupid GameStop like retail sticker on it. Gotta get that off still.
Yeah.
Get some.
Put some Goo Gone on that thing.
True. But anyways, so I was like, that looks strange. So I get out the game, and I look at the cartridge, whatever. There's a few like differences that you can notice. Again, it was like the Nintendo DS on the top is more bold, and then on the back, it's like it looks like the Nintendo logo on the authentic one looks way different than the Nintendo logo on the fake one.
Yeah.
So, I got scammed out of a Pokemon game. And those aren't cheap.
Yeah, those are
expensive.
Those are very expensive. They are.
Yeah, they are.
They are not your run-of-the-mill things. They are quite a bit of money.
They're not like Action Girls Racing.
Not anything like Action Girls Racing. Actually,
unless you buy it out for $81.
I actually have a bit of a similar story myself. I was given a gift card to Walmart.com, and I decided that I would spend my money on Mario Kart 64 for the N64 because the photos that were on there I think they were actually photos from DK Oldies, because as you know, DK Oldies will, even though the prices are a little bit much, I still respect DK Oldies, and they were actual official photos. I get the cartridge about a week later. Yeah, about a week later. And it is a blatant fake. The Nintendo logo that is engraved in the back is gone. The printout, okay, this is the weirdest thing. You know how you could just print out a cover art for a game?
Yep.
Well, no, they had to fully redesign everything. They had to find every single piece of vector art and somehow maliciously tweak it just a little bit. They could have just printed out the art and be fine. No, they had to change the Nintendo 64 logo to the wrong font. They had to, they did it to make me mad. They did it for me. And it's so much lighter than a normal 64 cartridge. But it just makes me mad. It's just a blatant ripoff. There are so many blatant ripoffs of things.
It's so bad these days.
Yeah.
I feel like with cartridge games especially, it's super easy.
It is so easy. It's getting a lot easier for DS games, specifically DS and Game Boy games. They're getting so much easier.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like Nintendo 64 games, they're a little bit more challenging, but like Game Boy Advance, DS games, like handheld games, are just super easy to make fakes of, it seems.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard many stories about fake 3DS games, thankfully, but I've heard a lot of stories about DS ones, and especially Game Boy. Like,
Game Boy is a big one.
The Game Boy seems to be the easiest to make fakes for.
Yeah.
I think NES might be fairly easy as well. But
yeah, because
Game
NES
Boy
is
notorious.
NES is NES. But yeah, Game Boy has so many fakes.
Game Boy is so notorious. But I'm glad that like with the disc games, it's kind of hard to, make fakes. But I'm like worried though. Do you think we're gonna get to the point where like fake Switch games are going to be a possibility sometime in the near future?
It's definitely possible. I definitely see it happening in the, I don't want to say
distant future.
Yeah, the distant future, the very distant future. But I mean, it's just a big game of the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are so many fakes out there, and sometimes it can even be hard to distinguish from each other. But one of the biggest ones that come to mind immediately is just such a hilarious, blatant ripoff. The Polystation, the Nintendo Polystation. It's got a poorly drawn logo, a controller that barely works, but it's a testament to the enduring popularity of Sony's console. Said nobody ever. This is actually a fun story because Nintendo actually had to sue this company because they put the Nintendo logo on that. They did not allow that, so then they just repackaged it as the Polystation. So I love how they, even after being sued, they still sold it. Just took the logo off.
I just looked up the Polystation. Did you know it was also known as Polystation 2, Polystation 3, Super Polystation, Polystation 2 with the actual number, instead of Roman numerals, not Roman numerals, Roman numerals. The first two were Roman numerals. I can't speak today. But also Polystation 3, PS Kid, Game Player, Extra TV Game, Play and Power, Fun Station, PS Man, and Fun Station 3. Where's Fun Station 2? What if I want Fun Station 2?
I need Fun Station 2.
True. But wow, this console. Oh my.
Yeah.
It's the way.
I'm looking at the. I'm looking at the box.
Is that a Sega Genesis game?
Inside the thing. Oh, the
side of the thing.
Are you looking at the Wikipedia image? Are you looking at the Wikipedia? Yeah. I see one right under it. I think it is. I see one right under it. There's a little quote that says from the box, "It's just not a game anymore." They got that right. At this point.
That's on the Wikipedia?
No, it's on a Reddit.
Oh.
It's on Reddit. It's just not a game anymore. Sure is.
Namco in the corner.
Yeah, but there's.
I don't think Namco.
No, I don't think they did.
This.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen, it's just a bunch of NES games. But it's a Famiclone. If you've ever heard of a Famiclone, there are so many games on there that are either just blatant copies or knockoffs or repackages. Okay, so like a good example of that would be Seven Granddad for the NES. It is one of the most famous ones. I guarantee you've seen it on the internet as either a meme or as something. But it's just a repackage of an NES Flintstones game with Mario's face over top of Fred Flintstone.
Fred Flintstone, yep.
But
I mostly know it from the memes, but it's definitely one of the most iconic bootlegs there is out there.
It is.
If you've heard of a bootleg, chances are you've heard of that game.
It is so easy. But you know what? I say that we fix this problem. Chris, do you think we should fix this problem?
I say we do.
I say we do. You know what? We're gonna get right into that. Let's get into it.
So one approach that that companies can do to fix this stinking problem of these annoying bootlegs or ripoffs that show up out of nowhere is taking legal measures. You know, cease and desist, or making lawsuits against the counterfeits. But it's kind of like playing a game of whack-a-mole, because when you shut down one operation, another just seems to pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that way of doing it wouldn't work as well as another strategy that they could do. Just release your games, people.
Yeah, this is just a big
ports. Thing. Yeah, like, if you're a Nintendo fan, there's a chance that you've seen a lot of ports, remakes, remasters, whatever. But, like, if these companies would just release their games on some sort of, like, in some sort of way to make so that they're playable on modern hardware, we wouldn't have as much of this problem, because people wouldn't go out of their way to try to get old copies and end up getting a bootleg instead. They would be able to get it from the source. Maybe it'll be just digital. I don't care.
Yeah.
But
you want me to give you a good example? Mother 3 on the Switch, because they only put it in Japan, and it's been in Japan this entire time. They still have never, ever ported it to America. We are literally begging for it. Oh my goodness.
You know, I'm just gonna say this. I feel like people are begging for it because, you know, that's just the thing to do.
They can't get it.
And then after that, people are just not gonna care.
Yeah.
That's like how it works with like F-Zero. It was like people were begging for a new F-Zero. People were begging for a new F-Zero. New F-Zero releases.
Nobody cares.
It died out. Exactly. It's like, oh, we finally got the new F-Zero. Now let's complain about a new Punch-Out. Yeah.
We need Star Fox. We need Star Fox.
Yeah. We need Star Fox.
Yeah.
We're gonna get another Star Fox, and no one's gonna care. I think that's what the whole like thing with the Wii U was, right? Like that's why they made a Star Fox for it. Yeah. Because people wanted a new Star Fox, and then
but they made it.
Didn't care.
They were like, oh yeah, we'll make a new Star Fox, but we'll make it bad.
We'll make it the worst Star Fox experience you could possibly have.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because that's just the Nintendo thing to do.
That's what we want to do. That was Nintendo and the Wii U final hours of the system.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if they just release their games, whether it just be through like some sort of subscription like Nintendo's doing right now, or if they just do like virtual console, like I don't think it'll take that much to take their games and put them on your storefront, on your online store. They show that they're capable of doing it. They've done it for the Wii.
Yeah.
They've been doing it since the Wii. The Wii, the 3DS, the Wii U, they all had virtual console. So like, especially Nintendo is capable of bringing their games
to other systems.
Exactly. Like, sure, we're only up to Nintendo 64 right now. I guess Game Boy Advance, but that's that's a different topic.
That's a different topic.
Like we have Nintendo Switch Online, so that solves some of the problem. But
then games like Doshin the Giant, on GameCube, that's never gonna come to Switch. We're never gonna get that on Switch Online. Obviously, never gonna get Wii U, but most of the Wii U games are already on Switch, so it really doesn't matter. Yeah. But if they just make your games available, release more of your obscure games. That's a big thing. Release just the games that, even though nobody really cares about, preservation purposes are great.
I feel like though, preservation, there's always ROMs online.
Yeah.
So they're always preserved in some way. But I feel like just to counteract like the whole release the most obscure games. If they release the most obscure games, well, people never heard of them. People just aren't going to care, and then they're going to lose out on money for producing making or remastering whatever, bringing this game to the modern scene, because obviously it's going to cost money for them to port it.
Yeah.
It's not just a copy and paste. They got to do things to make it compatible with the modern hardware or whatever. So that's going to cost them money, and if they don't get the sales that they were looking for, well, then that's just the loss of money there.
Yep.
They're not going to get that money back.
Yep. That's one.
So,
That's
like,
one of their biggest things. You can't really port games that you don't know are going to make you money. You always want to make sure that you can make money, because at the end of the day, Nintendo is a company. They're there to make money, but also to make the fans happy. Even though it doesn't always look like it, they're there to make money and to sometimes make the fans happy. Only when it comes to Mario. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Cough, cough. Mario 3D All Stars. Cough, cough.
True. Where's Galaxy 2? Actually, I'm happy Galaxy 2's not there, because Galaxy is cringe. There we go. That's the hot take for this episode.
No!
I don't know if there's ever a hot take, but there's the hot take for this episode. Galaxy is cringe.
Well, there is now. There is now. Galaxy 2 is a lot better than Mario Galaxy 1. I'm just saying.
Oh, Galaxy 2 is also cringe. There we go.
No.
Mario Galaxy are not good games. They are the worst 3D Mario. Okay, that is a lie, but they're overrated. Anyways, let's talk about...
Hey, wait, was Chris kicked? I think Chris was kicked from this call. What happened?
What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm here. I'm here.
All right.
But anyways, yeah. Just really release your games. But
yeah.
Bootlegs have just been a huge problem.
Such a big problem.
In the gaming industry for like the longest time, like even since the NES, as we've discussed. It's mostly though because, you know, it's because they want to make money.
Yep.
We've talked about this already. And then also because like some games aren't easily accessible anymore just because of age or just rarity of a game. So, you know, making a bootleg, you can get a quick buck out of it.
Yeah.
It just makes it more affordable, I guess. But if games were more easy to get and more affordable, then chances are we wouldn't have as big of a bootleg problem as we do. Because like some bootlegs are funny. Like we already talked about the Polystation.
Yeah.
That one's pretty funny. Seven Granddad is also pretty funny. But there's also like it gets to the point sometimes where like they can be dangerous and just, you know, be filled with viruses or scams. Like, you know, let's say you like, I don't know, on your Switch you get like a fake version of Mario Strikers Battle League.
If you were a nerd.
Yeah, we love Mario Strikers Battle League. It's better than Mario Galaxy.
Oh, absolutely, by a long shot. Even though it's unfinished.
Yeah, definitely. You could lose your Switch account. You could get hacked. Your credit card information could get stolen. And no more money for you.
No more.
No more funny games with anime girls for you from the eShop. Can't buy those no more.
You can't buy Row for 50 cents. No more for that.
Can't buy Bob's World on the Switch.
No, you can't buy Bouncy Bob and Bouncy Bob 4 more times.
Bouncy Bob 2. Everyone's favorite Switch game. You can't get that no more because your information is stolen. And you get to the point, like we're just gonna talk about ROMs real quick because that could be kind of on the same topic.
Yeah.
Fake ROMs could lead to you like unintentionally getting like a crypto miner on your PC, so someone's mining crypto from your PC. And then it could also like steal your information, like your social security, your personal information, all that stuff. And that could get put in the dark web. And then, identity fraud. Oopsies.
Oh no.
Chris is going to jail.
Bye-bye.
But yeah, huge problem. Yeah, I think that companies, though, need to make it easier to get some of these games that are either, like, really high in demand, or just, like, are infamous for having a lot of bootlegs.
Yes.
Because if people could get them easily, there's a less likely chance that they turn to bootlegs.
Yep.
Way less of a chance.
There is definitely a much lesser. There's definitely a lesser chance that they will turn to bootlegs if these games are just made available. If companies like Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft, Xbox, whatever you want to call them, they would just make their games available, make them cheap. Do like a Nintendo Select once in every now and then.
Nintendo Select would be amazing.
That would be so good for Switch.
But Game Freak, if you're listening, release Pokemon on Nintendo Switch Online. Thank you very much.
I'm surprised
That's all I want.
I'm surprised they didn't do anything for Pokemon Presents. I was so surprised.
We've been waiting for those games, but then again, I feel like that the reason they haven't brought like Pokemon Red is because they have Pokemon Let's Go and Pikachu and Eevee.
Yeah.
And those are Gen 1 remakes, so if they have Gen 1, the original, and the remake, then people are going to turn down the remakes and just play the originals.
Yeah.
And they'll lose out on money on that. But like, it's this late into the Switch's life, I don't think many people are craving for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Yeah, that game's been out for a while, so they really don't care about
like,
it.
I think it was like Gen 7. I mean, we're on Gen 9 now.
Yeah. I think we're gonna say our final words. Can we leave some condolences for Mario Galaxy?
No. I do not take back any of the points I made about Mario Galaxy.
Alright, and I fully resent him, which is why we're gonna end this episode right now. But either way, I'm Josiah.
And I'm Chris.
And this is Gaming Corner.